So for today's vlog, I would like to share my experience when I came here to Australia as a student and what jobs or work where I went into prior getting into my registration and getting a job as an AURN. So let's go. So as you all know, I came here last 2020, so it's pandemic. So it's quite hard to start when, of course, there's lockdowns and it's hard to look for jobs. It was difficult. So the first 3 months is difficult. I am just lucky that I have relatives here who were able to adopt me for a few months. So I was able to save for paying the rent and some food, of course, and I'm so grateful for them until this time. But yeah, so I managed to get a job, my first job, when I was I think it was after 2 months of getting in here. It's hard to get in a job that time because you don't have any local experience, so that's the first thing that they will look into when you're looking for a job. And of course, depends on your visa as well, if you have work rights, if it's unlimited or there is a restriction. So there are some of the things that they consider too. So what's my first job when I started working in Australia? I did a flyer distributor. So where I used to live, there are a lot of big houses. So I met someone, and then he's gonna give you a bunch of flyers, some of them like magazines, and depends on the route. So there's a map that they actually giving you, and then you need to finish the map and distribute all of those in the mailboxes. So come to think of it, if it's hot, I did that for a few hours and really I got blisters. It's not easy. So I don't know why. Maybe I'm just desperate to get into something to earn when I started here. So maybe that's one of the things that I never thought that I would do. But yeah, I did that, and it's not much of money. So I feel like I was I don't know, I would explode. Maybe because of course they just pay you, they didn't pay me per hour at that time, they paid me per map. So if you finish the map in 2-3 hours, then that's good. But if you finish like 4 hours walking around on foot, then it feels like it's not worth it. But I did that like maybe 3-4 times, I think. Yeah, I did that. So finally, after 3 months of job hunting, I was able to find a job in a general practice, so in a GP clinic. So it's actually quite near to my aunt's house, so that's quite good, and it's not hard to go into there by public transport anyway. So I started working as a medical receptionist in a GP. So at least this is quite related to medical field, to where I'm into. So yeah, so it's quite interesting because I was able to know like how appointments are going through a clinic, and then like if they have Medicare, and of course they don't pay anything. I met some doctors there. There's one nurse usually on duty on general practices, and yeah, and I met some few Filipino doctors, Filipino GPs who are consultant back home, but some of them are just also working on their registration to be a specialist in Australia. So yeah, so it's quite interesting. Yeah, but the thing is, I only worked there for a month. I actually didn't work there for some time. I feel like I was exploited then as well. Because they just paid me, I started there, they paid me like 22 per hour, and it's a casual rate, and I don't get a super full week. Like I just worked for 24 hours to 48 hours, I think, in fortnight, so in 2 weeks. So it's not much. The next thing that I actually found was more relevant, and where I actually stayed there for about 2 years. So yeah, so after that, since I feel like I don't get enough hours on that specific job, so I look for another one. So I'm lucky that I was able to work as an AI in one of the big hospitals, big private or like semi-government hospitals in Sydney. So endoscopy there is in the theater, which is my forte. So it's quite good that because endoscopy is quite busy during the pandemic, so they were able to consider me as an AIN to help them. But of course, I'm not registered yet, so I cannot work as an RN there. But it's actually a good stepping stone for me to work in the hospital, because I get to know the Australian system. I get to know some doctors and how they do endoscopy in Australia. So yeah, it's actually quite interesting. So mostly I just watch ropes because I'm just working as an assistant in nursing. So that's usually if you're just studying nursing here, or you're an RN in the Philippines but you're not registered in Australia, so most likely you'll end up being an AIN. So yeah, so I worked there for about 2 years. I left before I actually got my registration in where I work now and work as a full-time RN. But before that, I usually do casual as well in the hospital that I'm into, with the same work as an AIN. So I managed to work part-time and casual for both hospitals, and I just tried to fit it in so I could pay for my tuition fees, I can survive in my everyday living. And yes, of course, when I started working there, I tried to move a bit closer to work. So from then on, I already starting paying for my rent, for my utilities. So then there was no restriction with student visa holders, especially if you're a healthcare worker. And then you can just work full time, and they don't give restrictions to you. So that's actually good. That's my advantage when I came here in Australia during the pandemic, because I was able to work full time, but also I need to make sure that I commit to my studies. So yeah, so let's go to the next one. All right, of course, if you're saving for yourself for your tuition fee, you need to look for other options as well of how you could earn. So I also work in one of the disability agencies. So they actually offered me one client, and then I just attend to her like 4 times, I think, just a 1 month work, because after that they didn't give me any client anymore. And that client, usually when you do disability workers, so you just go to their house, and then depends on the case of the patient or the of that specific client, so it really varies. For that specific client, I only assist her because she's walking on a walker, and then she's able anyway, so I just assist her for she needs to eat, she needs to do her exercise, I can do some dishwashing or clean a bit of her room. So that's what we do when you do a disability care worker. Most nurses here that are not yet registered yet are doing that if they cannot get an AIN job in the hospitals or in aged care. So that's the other options that you could do. But aged care at that time, I was not able to work there because no one's getting me. Like, I'm trying to apply in aged care as an AIN, but there's always looking for a certificate. So I wish I don't have it. So it's hard because I need to work and then need to save for my tuition fee. So I cannot pay for another certificate and study again. So it's hard. And I got my registration in 2022 last year. So they actually need an experienced endoscopy nurse. So I was able to work there as a full-time as of this time. So they hired me, so I'm grateful for that. And now I'm a clinical nurse specialist and an acting nurse manager as of the moment. I think if you're a student or you have work rights, you can really work anywhere you want. You can even work to hospitalities if you could. And if you have work rights in Australia, you don't have any limitations to where you want to work. You can just apply, leave, do casual, part-time, full-time, depends on you. But of course, it depends on your visa as well. So if you're just a student, as of this time, we have work limitations now. So depends on your visa. So usually if you're the student, you can just work 48 hours per fortnight, so it's like 24 hours a week if you're on study, and then if you're on school break, they can work full time. That's the only time you can do. Or if you finish your study and you're in a different visa, so it really depends. So yeah, I hope this inspired you, everyone, that yeah, it's not easy to be a student in Australia. There's a lot of challenges, but Yeah, but it's really up to you, your determination, how you would survive, or those who are lucky that they could just do OBA overseas and just come here and get sponsorship, or get their PR right away. So that's good. So I'm just lucky because after I finished my degree, I was able to claim points for study, and then that made me invite for permanent residency, and I'm permanent resident. So hopefully I'm getting my citizenship next year. So yeah, so time flies so fast, guys, and I hope you make it as well. So don't worry about all your struggles. Everything will be worth it. It's just really up to you on how you would manage it. And yeah, good luck everyone, and thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.